There is purpose in isolation. There is purpose in isolation. Yes, it gets lonely. Yes, it gets scary. Yes, you deal with FOMO, the failure of missing out. Yes, it can cause you anxiety. It can cause you to lose yourself. It can cause a lot of things, a whole domino effect by being in isolation. But also, being in isolation allows you the time to have a clear mind, to get focused on what's most important for you to get where it is that you're trying to get. To get where it is that you're trying to get. Yeah, trying to get where you're trying to go, basically. Um, in isolation, you don't have to worry about the opinions of other people. When you're in isolation, you have little to no distractions. And I even say that as I sit in my apartment by myself, having little to no company, not having, the resources or the money to get around the way that I want to get around, or to network the way that I want to network. And again, it does get lonely. It can cause you to look through the lens of something negative. But when you are in that space of being able to, it's just you and God. And you're able to, you know what, let me take a deep breath. Let me recenter and reground myself. Let me have a sip of coffee. Let me drink some tea. Let me drink some water. Let me take my vitamins. And let me eat something. Just so I could even just think clearly, because when you don't eat, you can't even think clear. I don't care what nobody says. You come back to center and you're just like, no, this is what I might need. I may not need it all the time. I may not need it frequently. I may not need it consistently, but yeah, let me sit here. Let me think. Let me journal. Let me focus on my routine. Let me that book I've been trying or wanting to read. Let me pull out this book. This content that I've been trying to make. Let me work on this content. And you can create something very beautiful. Very beautiful while you're in isolation. It may not seem like it in that moment, because you could, like I said, you could be so focused on the emotions that come from being away from everybody and just being by yourself, especially if you're not used to being by yourself. That is like the biggest hurdle, is if you're used to being around people, having to basically prepare yourself away from the scene and just go within and just sit. That is hard, but it's so worth it. If you can isolate yourself to a point where, because you don't even have to put a time limit, because people be like, oh, go for 6 months and this, that, and the third. I don't feel like you have to go that extreme. I really don't. Will it be helpful? Yes. But if you are someone like me, who is actually, I'm kind of social. Like, I like to be by myself, but I'm also social. So being in isolation too long has a negative impact on me. Like, I start to lose my social skills. I start to lose my creativity. There's things that I want to do and things that I need to do for my future that requires me to get out and actually network. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that it needs to be a full 6 months or whatever time frame of isolation. What I do think would help is isolating from the things that hinder you. Switching up your scene. So you might go to the bar. Instead of going to the bar, go to the museum. Where you might go kick it at your friend's house. Instead of going to your friend's house, go kick it at the park. You know what I'm saying? So it's just little things that, instead of watching reality TV, turn on a podcast while you're cooking. Like, talk to yourself, talk to God. It's just different ways that I feel like you can go about it. I don't think you necessarily have to just cold turkey it, unless that works for you. If it works for you, then it works for you. But all in all, isolation is lonely, but isolation is worth it, because there is purpose that can be found in isolation. So if you're feeling called to go into isolation at this time, you're feeling called to kind of retreat from certain things, do it. And the thing is, you can always go back to it. You can always, rebuild those connections. You can always go back to the TV show. You can always go back. But I'm gonna be honest. You might not want to, and that's okay. But that was just on my mind. That was on my mind. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully it wasn't all over the place. I prayed before I came, meditated and prayed before I came in here to be like, make the message make sense. Make the message make sense. But yeah, I gotta go to work now. Have a good day. Bye.